Hello everyone. I'm going to just do a really quick video here showing a super easy way to make a rose. Not the most interesting or impressive rose in the world, but it's quick and it's easy and anyone can do it. I call it the question mark rose. So basically what I usually do is just kind of grab a pencil and sketch out a loose shape that helps me to define the size that the whole rose is going to be. And then in the middle of it, I just draw this question mark. And it's like that. Just a question mark. Plain and simple. And then I go back around and do another layer that's kind of like that. And then you can do a spiral in the middle if you want. And then the outside part, I pretty much just put 5 petals around it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that take up all the space. And then you kind of come back through here and make these petals have a little bit more of an interesting shape to it. Alright, so obviously it's a little on the ugly side, but I'll show you a couple of tricks that you can do to make that more interesting. But if you're just looking for a quick and dirty, easy way to do a rose, that would do the trick right there. And I'll show you a couple of little things, easy things that you can do to make it a little bit more interesting. So do a little bit more thinking up front and just, really figure out how big my rose is going to be. And then do a circle in the middle about like that. And then what you can do is just draw a star in the middle of it. Try to make these 2 dots here and here kind of even distance apart so that you have a nice clean star. And I put a little bit of thought into evening out the distance from here and here and here. But yeah, just draw a star right through the middle. And then I call this a teacup shape, even though I realize it's not really the shape of teacups, but same thing again, just draw your question mark and then bring it around into a spiral. Kind of bring the edges of the spiral down like you're drawing a banner and come back around the outside edge of your question mark and draw like that. Come back in and clean up your teacup shape. Alright, so the point of the star in the background is to help you draw more even petals. So between the points of the star, you just kind of figure out where the middle point is on each section between those. And then you can draw from that point, draw a shape kind of like this. See what I'm doing there? Kind of helps to make things nice and even. And then don't be afraid to bring some of these lines kind of behind the others. They don't have to come exactly like together. You can have one petal going behind the other petal. And you can even like take like on this petal here, say for example, like bring the point in like this instead. Come back through here. I like to make sound effects when I'm drawing for some reason. Just like that. And then another cool little trick that you can do on maybe one or two petals, if you don't get too carried away with it, is draw another little line along the edge. Sort of helps it, you know, it kind of looks like the petal is folded over a little bit. Maybe like on that one there. Kind of cool. Maybe one more like that over here. You kind of go back through and even out and adjust these petals. And then I'm a pretty sketchy, scribbly artist, so I like to really play around and think things out and do it multiple times. Another cool trick is, you know, these petals in the front could kind of be coming in front of the rose, so you could bring them over like that. And then the rose would be a lot more interesting if it had a couple of leaves coming out the side. So maybe, you know, when you draw your leaves, you want to make sure that they arc around on both sides instead of, you know, kind of being like flat on one side. You don't want that flat edge. It makes it not as cool. And then draw a line down the middle of these leaves. Maybe do one more leaf over here coming off. And break this up. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Break these up into sections. And I'm going to come back over and do another layer on these too, with some cleaner outlines. So right now I'm just kind of laying things out. I'm not super worried about like if there's a little bit of a wiggle to the line or if I trace back over it a couple times. And since you guys aren't probably working with digital, you probably just use a piece of tracing paper, which is how I always did it in the past. And then if you want to make your leaves look a little bit cooler, what you can do is kind of trace back over each line and give it like a little bit of an arc going into the next section, so that the leaves have like a little bit of a, you know, more interesting edge to them. So that's, you know, that's pretty much the question mark rose. It's not the most complicated or fascinating rose, but it's really easy for anyone to learn how to draw. Just start out with a question mark and then put a little wrinkly line around it. Put it in a teacup and then put some petals around the outside. That's all there is to it. Alright, so I'm going to do, I'm just going to clean it up. And I'm going to switch over to an ink pen for that. And when you put a piece of tracing paper over your design, it's going to be a little bit lighter. It's kind of harder to see, which is good, because some of those lighter, sketchier lines don't always show up, just the ones that you kind of went back over and darkened it up and made it how you wanted. But now I would take a little bit more time and just trace out the lines that I like and not the ones that I don't. And try to really focus on getting nice, smooth, clean lines, making changes and adjustments to my drawing so that it looks really cool. And then you get to throw away your ugly sketch and nobody will ever know what you did. Nobody will ever see your horrible sketch. They'll only see your beautiful masterpiece of finished artwork. You notice that I turn my artwork around a lot because there's certain ways that your wrist move. They're a lot easier, and there are certain directions where it's actually kind of a challenge to move your wrist in that direction. So I just like to turn my paper so that it's easy for me to do every single line, and I can do my best quality lines. And think about, where your lines stop. Like, I don't know if, I'm working right here, but like that little gap right there, that's the difference between those little tiny attention to detail or are what will make people impressed by your artwork. They might not know why they like it, but they know that they do like it. Like another example that I see a lot is sometimes people will bring their line over top like that when it shouldn't be. Go back through, or take your time. If you're working with ink, make sure that you're not going to be doing that. Think ahead a little bit before you put each mark on the paper. Here's another cool little, oops, switch back to my pen. Really cool, simple way to make your leaves look more interesting is put a little triangle in the middle like that. And then just kind of go through and do these little swoops. And don't get frustrated or stressed out if yours doesn't come out this nice right away the first time that you draw it, because it's just like anything. It takes a lot of practice to get good at it, but this is a fun, simple little thing that you can draw anytime, Put it on the edge of your math homework. You could draw this while you're pretending to pay attention during your other classes. That way your teacher thinks you're taking notes. She'll be like, wow, what a studious young person I have here. I'm so impressed. He's paying such good attention to me. And then you turn in your homework and they realize you don't know anything. Just kidding. Don't do that. I never did that. Yeah, sometimes, like this repetitive stuff is a little bit boring or tedious, but you just gotta stick to it and stay focused. Try to don't get bored or lazy part of the way through. And then you go back through here and throw away that bottom drawing. And then you have not the ugliest rose in the whole world. Be cool, right next to it. You could write somebody's name on there. Maybe your mom's name. Like your girlfriend. Alright. Done. I'm out.